How you doing?
Good.
We're gonna put down 7:06. The regular council meeting of the Village of Armada will now come to order. Will everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order is roll call.
Shaw?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Bullock?
Here.
Baylor?
Here.
Cooper? Here. Duffy? Here.
All present. What is the council's wishes of approval of the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, can you pass it?
At this time, floor is open up, excuse me. Floor is open up for citizen comments. Anyone would like to address the council at this time? You're welcome to. State your name for the record and
Yes, as many of you know, I'm State Representative Jeff Yard, stopping in to see all of you. But particularly I came to bring a copy. All of you in the last year, and particularly Trustee Police Commissioner Cooper, requested a bill to help with the issue of salvage title, the salvage title account and how monies were accumulating there and you couldn't use it. You couldn't pay for a police officer in the car, but you could pay for the police officer. So I just, unfortunately, nobody was able to make the bill signing, so I came with a copy of the bill with the governor's signature. I just wanted to bring that and give that Trustee Cooper, Police Commissioner.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that issue to my attention. As I said, I've always tried to work on local government issues, particularly and help local government be more effective and the state be good partners. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. I appreciate working with the village on this.
We appreciate all your work on it.
Yes, thank
It
you.
really
Thank
helps
you.
us.
Oh,
What does this bill do?
I'm going to actually discuss it under liaison
Oh,
reports
okay.
unless, but go ahead, please.
The issue that your auditor came up with, that you couldn't, the salvage title fees,
Yeah.
there was a very limited definition for what you could use that for. You could buy, police cars and equipment, things relating to preventing auto theft.
Yeah.
So you couldn't pay for the police officer in the car, but you could pay for the car. And my argument, the point that I made in Lansing was, well, how does the car sitting in a parking lot help deter auto car theft? You really want the car to move around, with an officer inside. So the Secretary of State agreed with me. So they worked with me on introducing a bill to change the language, which allows you to pay for the police officer and the car. Now, so you don't, because my understanding there was a lot of salvage title fees that were accumulating in your salvage title account, and then you had to go for a police assessment. You had to increase your special assessment for police service when you actually had quite a bit of money accrued in that account. So now you're going to be able to use, some of that, however you all decide to do it. But I've opened, by passing this bill, the governor signed this summer or recently. Now you're going to be able to move that as you see fit, as long as it's for police services. So a big part of my role in Lansing has been advocating for local government and trying to free those restrictions that got in the way. They definitely got in the way when I was on city council and trying to do a good job. And I appreciate Commissioner Cooper brought this to my attention. He said, well, that makes sense. Let's try to knock down this barrier and allow local government to be more efficient. So then you're going to report and then now whatever the village decides they're going to do, you can do. But now we've freed that up, and your auditor shouldn't have an issue.
Right, that's correct.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all your work in doing that.
Thank you.
Do you think we could take a quick picture?
Oh, sure. Don't have a
Do
picture.
we need a camera? Sam?
I was dressed a little nicer.
Just stand behind him and put your head up.
George, you don't have to go away.
This is a great picture.
Are you upside down?
Maybe.
Okay, that looks good. I take it out, just- Okay.
So,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I want to keep encouraging better relations, as I said, between state and local government.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Very
We like
good.
that.
Thank you.
Very important.
And if
Thank
it's
you,
okay,
Sharon.
yes, if it's okay, I'd like to give a liaison report then to go with that, if that's okay. So we had a meeting on Friday with the auditor and our attorney, police chief, Marv, Joe, and I were all there. We were discussing how to utilize the funds, and we can't start using them till July 4th because that's when the law starts. So after July 4th, we discussed with them the best way to utilize the funds, because we do have the PA 33 out there as well. So in relation to direct costs, like purchases of equipment and everything else, those can still be 100% like we have been doing, because those have always been covered. But because of the increase in the language and the change in the language, Chief has to come up with a specific specific data as to how much time is in the prevention and detection of stolen vehicles. So he's going to put together an order for his officers with a specific time frame and timeline and data that he can derive from how much time they are going to be doing this specific task. Then what that does is opens up that direct portion of wages to be paid out of salvage title. So for instance, if he decides that he wants 20% of their day running plates, looking at cars, things like that, then 20% of the wages for those officers can be used for salvage title. Our attorney and auditor felt more comfortable utilizing those funds that way, because if we actually have data derived from it and actually have an order for their officers, it's a lot easier if something were to ever come in question from the state. So just to let everyone know, Chief is going over all the numbers, how he wants a day of, to look like, and then he's gonna go ahead and put that order in place starting July 4th. So just to let
Great.
everyone know.
Sounds good, Sharon.
But thank you so much for all your help and your work, because we've not been able to utilize this money for anything other than just equipment for the police department in the detection and apprehension of stolen vehicles. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It really helped us out a ton, especially in a little community like this. Thank you.
Well, myself personally, I'd still like to see it broaden a little bit more for like our small community. Now, probably larger communities, they buy more than what we do too, so on that basis, I'd like to see it expand a little bit, too, so if that you ever get your chance, Jeff, keep that in mind, probably.
Can I expand how,
Well, in other words, for the spending, like, for instance, we have approximately $400,000. Sure, we get maybe 2 vehicles, that's about, what, $35,000 a piece by the time you get them on the road and that kind of stuff, with your radio changes, your screening and everything like that, see. So, yeah, it might bring it down to 330,000, but all the time, they're building up this fund too, so of the inspections that they're getting and doing, in other words. So if they could build that up, we have an expansion there where we need to spend more monies.
no, you can use it for wages now.
Right.
Yeah.
In my understanding, your attorney is taking a very
That's
conservative
right.
view.
Yes.
But actually, the way we wrote it, you actually could use it for your officers just driving around in general. You could argue that just driving around patrolling avoids auto theft.
Sure.
I'm saying that you could take a very more liberal view. I mean, we wrote it. I mean, the way I wrote the language, you could take a very
Yes.
more liberal view. It's just my impression is that your attorney and auditor is taking more conservative view and to be very cautious. I'm saying that when I worked with Secretary of State, the way we wrote it, in fact, you could pay for an officer. It would be a reasonable thing that an officer just driving around avoids auto theft. But I can appreciate that you're trying to be conservative and not have any questions. But
Right.
actually, the way the law is, I actually wrote it much more
Right.
liberal.
And maybe after a year of living with it,
Exactly.
they might see,
more how you could change it.
Well, we've
so.
been in the police department pinching pennies for so long,
Right.
trying to get blood out of a turnip for so long. This doesn't even start till July 4th. So it kind of opens up a whole new gate of funds that are available for the police department. And it's not even a way of thinking that our chief has ever been allowed to do since we've been in the police department. So, I mean, it's gonna take a year to try to figure out like what kind of expenses and things like that that we can utilize the money for. But I don't wanna go make any nasty
No.
changes or anything like that with the program until you get a full year under your belt and see where you're going and actually envelope our minds around the fact that we can utilize the money for this, because we've always been told no before.
Right.
So,
That was the intent. I just want to share with you, when I worked with Secretary of State, and I don't know if this is appropriate for me to comment, because it's,
no,
you're fine.
no, we're still fine.
but when I worked with Secretary of State, it was intended to have a much more, just had to be reasonably related to preventing auto theft. And they agreed with me that a patrol car driving around the city or the village on patrol discourages auto theft, which is my argument was, just buying cars to put in the parking lot doesn't discourage auto theft.
Right.
Having those cars move around town avoids auto theft. So, and they agreed with me. So it's that, and I appreciate that you're taking it much more conservative, being very cautious and not, spending it right off. I think that's very wise. But I just, since the Secretary of State actually helped me with the language, they very well could pay for patrols. I mean, I appreciate that you're taking a very conservative view.
Yes.
But when I worked with Secretary of State, it was tended that, look, it just has to be reasonably related.
Right.
And I think big patrol services are reasonably related to preventing all of that.
Well, maybe we can have
that's-
another meeting with the auditor and the attorney and
Yeah.
have another meeting with them and discuss that.
Just so that we don't want to be
Yes,
caught in
exactly.
catch-22.
Well, we just don't ever want to
Well,
have it like
maybe,
that.
That's why I say if we could expand a little bit, too, on it, which if you can keep in mind
That would
yourself,
be beneficial, right?
that would be great too,
Maybe
so
do that.
anything or an improvement in anything is good.
I guess my question to you, my point to you would be, the law was written to be wider. So I'm saying is that if somehow the Secretary of State comes back and says, no, you can't, I mean, I'm staying in touch with them on this. I will work with the Secretary of State, because that's how the law was meant to be written very broadly.
Okay.
So if they take a more, the person that the chief deals with, the Secretary of State that overviews this, takes a much tighter view,
Right,
I will deal with it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, the intent of the law was a wider view.
okay,
So-
perfect. That's great.
So,
Yes. Well, maybe we can have a meeting with yourself, the auditor, and the attorney. The four of us can actually meet along with chief and,
if you'd like,
Yeah.
but the nice thing to say is, as having been the sponsor of the bill, I know
Right.
exactly what the point was.
That's perfect.
That's
right?
great.
The
That's
Secretary
perfect.
of State to do. So it will allow, but I can appreciate going carefully and not racing too fast, because I'm sure the Secretary of State is gonna probably need a little chance to catch up to. But
Exactly.
if there's any pushback, please get back in touch with me,
Okay,
so I can work with my contacts, the Secretary of State, to make sure we're all on the same page.
perfect.
It's
Thank you
just-
again so much.
It's just a little bit internal too, on now starting a program too. A little more work for the chief to start with record keeping and everything. So if he's got to do most of that himself, and if he's got an officer to help him, which would be great. So, I mean, this is what we see, so, but I think any kind of improvement for us, I just wish they'd give us more money, so.
Oh, hey, this is a big deal.
It is big.
Appreciate it.
Very
Yes.
nicely
Now,
done.
you are gonna see more road money coming, and there was a little bump in revenue sharing, so I'm trying.
That's great.
Yay.
We'll take all of
We
it.
need that,
Well, we got this project starting now too,
Jeff.
on West Main Street, so that's going to be very helpful if we can get more revenue share too.
He even answered me on Facebook.
Yes, I don't know if it was on I Love Armada or,
Yeah.
I don't remember, because we're
You
constantly.
were saying, well, what should we do with these extra funds?
Oh, yes, okay.
I had an answer for that,
Yes, we
and
did.
you had an answer back, so I'm just really glad that you were looking, and I appreciated it.
You're welcome. We very much, we put that out as best we could to get feedback. So, and I think we tried to answer everyone. Actually, we read all the comments that people sent us. Overwhelmingly, people said, any extra money we would like to, generally said, put it towards roads. That's what we heard the most for people, to be honest. I mean, that's the one thing, loud and clear, that people said, which helps the village, because you're a road agency, so you will get, unfortunately, we're still a donor county, so I'm trying to change that to get that money back too. So,
I think
Thank you for all your
I
work.
think over the years we donated quite a bit, so.
22 million last year left Macomb County and went elsewhere.
Wow.
Yes.
Very good, Jeff, thank you kindly.
So I
Thank you
apologize.
so much. No, it's perfect, thank you.
All good news, thanks.
Yes.
There's no presentations tonight. Administrator reports, MV report, we have Stuart here. Do you have something with Steve?
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Stuart.
Yes, my name is Stuart Beach. I'm operations specialist with police and dental clinic operations. And starting with the main time period, the wastewater plant did not have any permit limit exceedances for the month. The average flow for the month was 186,000 gallons per day, and the maximum flow for a single day was 311,000 gallons on May 4th. A little bit of deluge there. Some of the action items, some things were happening. The equipment, the refrigeration unit failed on the effluent composite sampler. We had a HVAC tech come out and troubleshoot the issue, and they stated it was not repairable, too old, too rusted. We're looking at several options for reconfiguration or replacement, and that issue will need to be addressed as soon as possible. We're recommending that an annual maintenance contract be implemented for all submersible pumps at the wastewater treatment plant and in the collection system. That would be the Colonial Street lift station. And a proposal for this is in the packet under Appendix E of the report, and we would ask that you would approve this proposal. Moving along on some more of the maintenance issues, Red Electric. They are from Elmont, Michigan, just around the corner up here, and they're a commercial outfit. They were willing to come and fit us into the busy schedule. They're going to be replacing the explosion-proof emergency lights sometime yet this month or early next month, and the signed proposal is Appendix F of the report. On May 3rd, there's several power interruptions at the plant and around town, and the Colonial Street lift station was included in that. Our operational staff was on site during these power interruptions, and we proceeded to reset the alarms and ensure proper operation of the plant lift station while during the day. The influent flow meter that was original to the wastewater plant had several malfunctions during the months of April and May. The power interruptions rendered the totalizer on the influent flow meter inoperable. We proceeded to get Mr. Clark to sign and approve, thank you Mr. Clark, a proposal from Odebeer Instrumentation to install a new influent pulsar flow meter and calibrate the effluent and waste activated sludge flow meters. It was also noted by Odebeer while they were on site that the effluent flow meter is on its last contact for the getting the signals and can fail at any time. And we would like to recommend being proactive and have a new effluent flow meter installed as soon as possible. The gas monitors were also calibrated by Odebeer Instrumentation while they were here, while they were doing the flow meters. And on May 24th, 25th, Biotech, big tanker trucks, applied the village's biosolids to a farm field located off of Pitt Road. They applied approximately 230,000 gallons of biosolids. Or fertilizer. On May 25th, we noticed that the newly installed return air unit for the grit building was not running. It was the fourth time it had happened since the unit was put in December of last year. We called Watson Brothers again, and they showed us how to reset the unit. We requested them to come out and investigate the issue, and they directed us to contact Row Engineering because they couldn't find any issues during previous visits. And Mr. Faith of Row Engineering said he would look into it and get back with us. On May 29th, we had a Zone 2 alarm at 7:30 at night. When we got to the plant, there was no reason why the dialer called it in. We couldn't find any trace or any history of the alarm, except the fact that it had called out. We proceeded to look over everything and we'll check everything twice. Couldn't find anything, and then we left the plant about 9 o'clock. So,
Anybody have any questions for Stu?
I do.
yes.
The quotes that you say are in the appendix, did you get more than one quote for any of these repairs or replacements? Or are the quotes your recommendation and you did get another?
I happen to know the one from Jet, Appendix E. They are the recommended one. We've done a lot of, Jet has done a lot of work with us. We've tried to get other quotes, and sometimes they won't even give us anything.
As long as I know we may be able to.
Yeah, no, Chris, believe me, Chris has made the effort. He gets very frustrated. He calls people, they say they'll get it to us, and then they don't. And again, going back to Jet, Jet has done a lot of work with us.
If there's a specialty item that.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about it, that so many things down there are a specialty item, and there's only a couple of companies that handle certain aspects of it, so you're kind of stuck with one company.
We don't contact out-of-state people either. We try and keep it in Michigan. So. As far as electrician goes, we called a couple dozen of them. They have to be a commercial electrician to work in a municipal building. And most of them were too busy.
Yeah, it was too small of a project for them to put in a couple of explosion-proof exit lights, so.
But Red Electric happened to be right there on the north side of Almont. They work with the city of Almont on their facilities and everything, so it was a good match.
Okay.
I have a question on the Jet one real quick. So it
Sure.
says on there that they can be performed on a semi-annual basis, and the price always remains the same, which is the $15.20, correct? But you can, it's up to the discretion of the owner how often we want to do these inspections. But then it also says they require a pre-authorization of up to $300, and it's not going to be charged unless it's actually needed. Is that $300 included in the $15.20, or is it an additional $300?
I do not know.
I'll ask Chris.
Okay,
So we know exactly what we're getting.
right,
Because I do want to put this on the agenda for the next meeting,
right,
so I'll hopefully get that all aired out, so
Okay.
there's no questions.
okay.
Okay.
And then the last thing, is there a warranty on that unit, the return air unit? Was there a warranty on it since we just replaced it?
Yeah, there is. What we seem to have run into is they didn't spec out come off a smaller electrical bus than what they think should be. And it's popping, it's going off. So the engineers expected that was okay, but apparently it's not okay, and it's tripping a couple different times. So we're still trying to get with Rowe to sort this out, because they're the ones that designed this thing, so.
The other thing we're concerned about is that when it trips off like that, we don't want it to impact anything else.
Correct, right.
It would be dead.
Right, right. Okay.
Mr. Ballard, do you have a question?
I have one here. It's just, it was noted that, out of our instrumentation, that the Hydro Ranger flow meter is on its last contact. Did we get a quote on that? To have that replaced?
I don't know that we do.
Or is that something we just go ahead and get replaced? Because, I know that that's a very that's an important meter for these guys.
Yes, yes, it is.
And if it's up on its last contact for 4 to 20 milliamp signal, and it's wearing out, we gotta get rid of it.
Well, it's the same thing with that refrigeration unit.
Yeah,
That keeps all the results even, so they know what they've got going, and we turned these results into the state, so we're in compliance, so
right.
that's something, again, you know, there's so many little bits and pieces down there that
Right.
one thing affects another thing.
I noted that you asked for quote, and you found.
Yeah, okay.
The doctor's management taking care of this.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
If you don't want to stay for the full meeting, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So if you're going,
So let's get out of here.
You got a long drive.
Let's go.
You see John Rosenthal?
Okay.
all right, treasurer's report, you have a copy of that in your packet. Any liaison reports that we haven't heard? General business, consent agenda, approval of the regular council meeting minutes of June 11th of 18, and also the payment of bills. What is the council's wishes?
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Old business, sewer plant update. Steve, do you have further?
I do. Just to let you know that the request for qualifications that I talked about last time, it did go out. We decided not to go with the facilitator. We did it in-house, and it was mailed out last Tuesday, and we're waiting for the deadline is July 17th. I believe we sent it out to 4 different engineering companies. So I'll be asking for a committee to be put together to look at this and at your discretion. So that's an upcoming event. So
What's the bid, what's the open date on that?
the opening, I don't know. I don't know if it says it. So the deadline is July 17th. I don't know what it said.
Usually one of the last sentences is.
You'll be received no later than 4 p.m. July 17th.
That should be your opening day. It's not your award, but it's your
Yeah.
opening day at 4 o'clock on July 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to close the business, in other words.
Yep.
So anyway, that's one more step along the SRF that we had to do.
That's one big step.
Yeah, yes, it is a very big
No, it's
step.
big.
And we're really pushing us on that and proceed with that and
Get her
move
done.
on.
Very good. So it's been a lot of hard work on that with Steve, and he's working very diligently with Joe too about this project. So thank you, Steve, and Joe too,
Yeah,
please.
thank you, Joe, and Becky.
New business, downtown plays. What is the council's wishes you have in your packet?
This was discussed at the last meeting.
Right.
So this is just your motion to go ahead, because that's what we said, to bring it back.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to allow the business owners to hang banners on the downtown streetlights.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion?
Mr. President, I don't want to put a damper on this, and I love the idea of them doing this, but shouldn't this go before the planning commission?
Well, this is what Michelle asked me before, you know. I think it's our village property, and I think we have the right to give that okay.
Okay.
I mean, without the planning commission, so, I mean, what do you think, David?
No, I agree 100%. This is not a change in the sign ordinance or anything like that.
We
But
have
nobody-
had banners in there.
And we've had banners hanging there, so.
But nobody's reviewed this. Nobody's reviewed to make sure that they fit on the poles properly, that they're not wind-driven. We just took a business owner to court for wind-driven.
I didn't hear you, pardon me?
And we just recently took a business owner to court on wind-driven flag, so stuff like this really should be reviewed.
Well, wasn't that reported to us? I mean, didn't they give us that information? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't recall it, but,
At this
does
point,
anyone
right now,
recall it?
there are not double brackets on those poles. So the bottom will flap in the wind. So that's where the planning commission would come in as an obvious eye on this kind of thing, to see that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, that that bottom bracket is on there, and it's to the right specification.
Well, I don't think, I don't disagree at all with what you're saying, but I don't think we're opposed to what Ms. DeMille and
The
Ms.
content of it
Monet
is awesome.
proposed.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
The proposal is
you
awesome.
may have to tell them what size it is.
Right, and that's the planning commission's
Yes.
job. You know that very well. So, that's my opinion, you guys, I think,
Well, do you want to put it in the motion pending the
Review of the planning
review of
commission.
planning commission?
Yeah, you could do it then.
Or forget the whole thing and wait till we hear from planning? I mean,
well,
somebody's got to
apply,
take the
she's gonna
plan.
apply to planning now, because she's already got the blessing from council. So,
Well, maybe put in here just pending
I
planning
would
commission
have-
Well,
review.
she's got the blessing for the idea.
That way she doesn't have to
regardless.
come
That's what
back.
we-
I think the
that's why-
concept was awesome,
Yeah,
adorable. But you still gotta make sure it fits within the parameters of the guidelines of our
well, I always
sign.
thought that, you know, they'd be checking that.
well, I feel
There's
as though,
nothing in here
Almost so long.
that says that they don't have to do that. It just says that we give them permission to hang them through whatever the normal process is, right? There's nothing, it's not necessarily in contradiction to that.
It says a new bracket may be required to hold it from the bottom of the lights. Currently, we only have a top bracket.
But who's reviewing it to say that it does, yes or no?
Well, and who's gonna install those brackets?
Yeah,
well, like I said, it's our property, and I feel as though if they don't want their flags to be damaged, I think they will do it, you know, as
Oh, I'm sure they
what
will
we can
do
call
it.
for,
but-
but I don't think we need to go to
We
planning
need to follow
commission.
the rules that we have.
Dave's been on
Yes.
the planning commission
Absolutely.
so long, that I think he can,
well, you know, the signs has been a little bit of a controversial anyhow.
Not the fabric
And then-
ones. The fabric ones have never been controversial.
No, I'm
They
just
have
when we
recently.
put in the new sign
I
ordinance.
don't think we've ever had fabric ones.
Yeah.
No, I mean on our poles, I'm sorry,
Oh,
no, yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I thought
Yes.
that, you know, when they proposed that, they would have to get the blessings from somebody for what the
Specs.
size of the sign, the specs of the sign.
Right.
Right,
That
and
they
that's
were
what
not gonna
planning
create the
review-
specs
Okay, so then
themselves.
let's add that, just to.
I was gonna say
subject to-
amended, saying pending planning commission review
Yes, I
at
will.
the end.
I'm
Oh,
okay,
that's
I'm
good.
okay making that motion.
All right,
Change the
and you're okay with that second?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
okay, it's been moved and supported, any further discussion?
Maybe you could take that back to just tell them what Susan DeMille and Miss
Right.
Monet, the art teacher from the elementary school, are proposing.
Right.
Okay,
And then they're getting them done at API, I think she said, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
this
she said.
isn't even gonna happen until
Exactly.
after Christmas, so I mean, she's
So,
got time.
Even if you get the exact specifications, for instance, you know, how many grommets or however it has to be hung, and then what the dimensions are, and it can't be over this amount of weight,
Right,
get those to API, and she said that they're willing to do whatever. So
yeah.
it's not an issue.
I think it should be very easy, project, as far as I'm concerned of hearing it, so,
Oh, it's a great idea.
yeah, so, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Taxes and warrants. Joe, you have the,
Yeah, it's that time of year again. I'm setting up the tax roll, so by law I'm required to ask for warrants that are signed, giving me permission and authority to produce that roll and put out those tax bills. So that is the 3 pages that say warrants. One is a real and personal property, and the DDA warrant we still have. Secondly, you have a copy of the L429, which shows the methodology and the rate that millage that we are proposing for this year's tax roll based on the Headley rollback. And you also have a resolution to adopt Passes. And that's the motion. Any questions?
We just need these what?
You need these motions.
What is council's wishes?
I move to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for the tax year 2018 for operating the general fund, be levied at the reduced rate of 9.0905 mils in compliance with the Headley 2018 reduction factor of 0.9860.
That's not right.
9934.
Wait.
What?
Those may not be right. Where,
Oh, but we've not,
I'm looking at the first one here.
Oh, did
No.
you type them?
no, I put in this number here, but I did not put, I didn't, what's this? I don't know what this.
.9934.
Yeah, what's
Oh,
that? So when you read them, I'll correct you. Go ahead.
Okay, the rate of what?
.9.
9.0905?
Right.
Okay, that's different than this one. Mills in compliance with the Headley 2018 reduction factor of 0.9934, section MCI 211.34D.
And I can't talk to you right now, I'm in a meeting.
Support.
And these are rules,
Yeah.
right?
I was reading this one.
No, you would, those are wrong. I didn't catch that when I caught the first one.
Okay, well,
One of these years.
so now it's this one right here.
Yes.
So
And
I-
these are-
Gotta roll.
These are rules. Okay, Conan,
Yes.
Ballard, I'm
Yes.
sorry, I jumped right over there.
No, it's okay.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Cooper?
Yes.
Bullock.
Yes. Motion carried.
So this one will also be wrong.
It's also .9934.
Yes, the Headley factor states, it stays the same across the board.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for tax year 2018 for operating municipal fund be levied at the reduced rate of 3.6360 mils in compliance with the Headley 2018 reduction factor of 0.9934, section MCL 211.34D.
support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
No, roll.
Okay.
Oh, money, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Shaw,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes,
Conan?
Yes.
motion carried. The next one?
Does the next one have to say PA 33 anywhere in it, or just
This-
general fund?
The Public Act is not affected by the Headley,
Okay,
so that portion doesn't apply.
okay.
That's why it's not on there.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the millage rate to be levied by the treasurer for tax year 2018 for operating the general fund to be levied at the reduced rate of 3.2500.
Support.
And moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, clerk call roll.
Cooper,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Bullock,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Okay, the next motion is to authorize sign. What is council's wishes?
Resolved to authorize the clerk, president, and treasurer to sign all warrants and forms related to the 2018 tax roll.
Support. Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, roll call please.
You got your roll on this one?
Yes, put a roll call on, please.
Ballard,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Cooper,
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Motion carried. First right of your refusal. This is Joe's again. We have a piece of property she's talking about.
Yes, I get notifications from the county treasurer's office when there are foreclosures or forfeitures that are in our jurisdiction. And we received that one, which is a small piece of property that is on the north end of Fulton Street on the east side. It is 12 feet wide by 30 feet long. It was a utility easement. It was originally owned by the property owner on Burke Street, Diane purchased at the time. And then when the pole went in, they took off that piece of property. So over the years, it's been a very, very minimal tax collection. I mean, when I first started, Jerry came in with 21 cents and wanted to know why the tax bill had gone up. So originally I thought I made a mistake, and when they came to it, I see what it was. But he got a kick out of saying he owned property in the village farm. Since he had died, it went into foreclosure. So the county has sent me the notification with first rights of refusal. The village wants to buy that piece of property. I see no advantage to the village buying the piece of property. The tax on it now over the 25 years has gone from 21 cents to $3.34, I think.
Where is it?
It's the
Back by
bridge
Tellers and
between Tellers
Diane Purchases on Burke Street.
Burke Street, right down.
Not Burke, well, Diane is on Burke Street, her house, which is not Diane's anymore, she sold it since. But where the property goes down and goes low and it comes against the creek and the creek goes over to Fulton,
Yeah.
a small piece of the property. Can't reach it. It's right. See the creek going through?
Yeah.
And the bridge is right there. So that's all property. There's like 4 or 5 lots that are in there, and it all belongs to the property just north of the vacant and lowland. You can't, well, obviously you can't build on it, it's not big enough, but
Right
even,
next to the creek.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's in the lowland, it's in the floodplains, and you can't change the topography of it, so,
Teller must take care of it now.
maybe,
Is it bordering Tellers?
yes, it does. So if we choose to buy it, it's gonna cost you $611 or something. It's not worth $611,
No.
so.
No, we can't do nothing with it, so I think we should just move on.
Right, so I'm going to notify the 3 property owners that have bought it, because after I file my rights of, first rights of refusal with the county, they will open it to local purchasers. So I will notify those 3 people that parcel is there if any of them are interested in buying it. But I will make a recommendation to the county to see if they can do something about waiving the interest and penalties, because this property is not worth it. Nope. Even to add it on to, say, if it were my property, even to add it on my property, it's not worth $600.
Right.
So for 12 foot. And it's not like, it's usable 12 foot
Right.
down the creek. So we'll see, but that will be my intent, will be to contact the property, adjoining properties.
So I guess I'll move to decline the county's offer to purchase parcel number 25-02-24-101-031 under the tax reversion process, and authorize the treasurer to submit council's notice of refusal to the Macomb County Treasurer's Office.
Second.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Open coming agenda items, does the council have any?
I've got what was in Appendix E for the checking of the pumps from Jet, sort out the quote. And then I would also like to see a committee made for checking over the engineering reports that we'll be getting back in a few weeks.
Would you have any suggestions to the president, sir?
Look for volunteers.
We'll ask for volunteers. Anybody would like to sit in with Mr. Clark?
You have a meeting that with the engineers, Steve, or do we have to do?
Well, we're gonna look over the their qualifications, and then we'll make a recommendation to council for an engineering firm that'll handle all the work to be done down at the plant.
Now, is this something Roe can or can't bid on?
No,
They can, in fact, they were one that we actually sent
That's one that we
out.
sent out.
So that's why I'm wondering if that's even appropriate to have Roe
Mhm.
look over making recommendations, so.
So your opening is
Not
on.
if they're
No, I-
responded.
No, with this type of recommendation comes from the committee.
Yeah,
It's like the same thing that I.
Yeah.
We did with the roads.
yeah.
Sounds like you have some experience.
Just with it.
So the opening is Tuesday, July 17th. Our council meeting is July 23rd. Would you want to have it during that week? So you would make your recommendation to council on the 23rd, or did you want to wait till August to make that recommendation?
No, let's get it done.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd
so
say-
so your committee would have to meet that week then.
Okay.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Any volunteer?
I don't really know much about that sort of thing.
Did you just volunteer?
No.
That's what I thought I heard her say. I know.
So will it be like the roads where we get quotes from the engineering firms and we have to just look over the?
Yeah.
This is a
This is not
qualification
quotes,
base.
this is
just-
This is a qualification base.
Yeah, and you
Yes.
have any monies, or just their qualifications to work on the project.
And
Yeah, the town
Next.
had.
roughly how long should this take, Steve? Can you give us, maybe that'll help us decide too, so.
Half hour, 40 minutes.
Why don't you just talk amongst yourselves and appoint them at the next meeting?
Yeah, and it should be the one meeting then, apparently, so.
Yeah, 'cause we still have the
I'll
first meeting in
volunteer.
July.
Okay.
And that's,
So-
you just gotta let me know what day you're gonna meet.
Okay.
So we have one, can we have one more? 'Cause
If we can do it on a Friday.
Okay. I say okay now,
Friday work too,
Yeah.
You're okay with it then for Friday?
Yeah,
That'd be July 20th.
So we welcome you very kindly.
you're welcome.
July 20th it would be.
Okay.
How sweet it is, they say, you know?
So, but you'll appoint at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully we'll have something from on West Main Street by that time.
yeah, I've been talking with Mrs. Candy Miller, Candace, or in other words, our clerk. I brought Lyle up to date each time that I've had contact with them in that particular offices and division. So they sent us some paperwork, but it wasn't for our village. I called immediately the next day. They returned my call, and I advised them that, I would like to have the proper paperwork, and they told me that it would probably be coming very shortly, within a few days. I think the few days has passed. Of course, clock turns slow sometimes, but if we don't get this by Monday, like I told Mr. Ballard, I'm gonna be calling again, because it's involving money that we are gonna be getting some, the way we understand it, right? The amount they have told us, but I don't wanna really say it right now, because of the fact is, it could be more, it could be less. And I don't want our hopes built and not get that kind of amount, see, so. But Lyle and I seem to be satisfied if they'll give us that amount. So, it's not like I mentioned before with one of the other municipalities where they gave 5,000 and they matched 5,000. So it's a little bit more than that. So that's what I can report along with Lyle.
And Lyle, if you could let me know, I can just put West Main Street down under
Yep.
old business, or will you have motions? Because I'm not here next week.
I have no idea at this time. so-
Okay. If you know anything this week, let me know, because next week I'm on vacation.
Well, he has to take it to our engineers too with Rowe, and he's been in contact with Rowe because he brought me up to date with Rowe's and Tuesday, so.
If you'd like, I would like to report on that, about where we stand with Roe right now. We're waiting for MDOT to send us the bidding packages so we can approve them, let MDOT know. We're looking at an August letting date, and that's when it goes out for bid. Possible start date of construction sometime in September. And completion date, more than likely the end of October to the middle of November, weather permitting. So it's not that big of a job, but it's just a time-consuming job. That's what I'm
Good.
saying.
Well, that's why we're trying to push and see how much money we can get and how much we're gonna have to put in ourselves.
I'd like to say something about the concerts.
Yes, good.
This week we have Killer Vibe, which has got a local resident, Armada resident, Ken Miller is in the band, so that's in the park at 7 to 8:30. And then the week after that is actually July 4th. That's our Uncle Sam Jam. We have a band called Ground Zero. It's a kid band. It's like a John Salcido's in it. Him and his brother are on the board of directors for it's a nonprofit organization that helps kids that don't necessarily can't go to the School of Rock or something have that same sort of environment in a nonprofit situation for them. So they're going to be the band on the 4th of July. We have our potluck. So we'll have the program provides the hot dogs and the plates and bottles of water and condiments and onions, you know, all that. You bring a dish to pass. I'm going to have trays of ice so we can make sure that we're all food safe and all that. So come out and enjoy the holiday in the park. You're invited, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bring your family.
You should go.
So is there-
Yes,
bring
it's
the
a
kids,
great
bring the
event.
family, bring the neighbors.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's
They're-
like the best of small town life to have a picnic in the park with your neighbors and celebrate this great country. So,
Very good, thank you.
you're welcome.
I want to let everyone know too that Tivoli's is going on a well-deserved vacation. So Tivoli's in town will be closed from July 1st to July 8th, and they will be opening back up on July 9th. So no Tivoli's pizza from July 1st to July 8th. It's
Another
going on a
reason-
well-deserved vacation.
Another reason to come to the park for free hot dogs.
Exactly.
Any other community events at this time? Yeah, and there's no closed session tonight, so it is proper for adjournment, please.
Time is 7:59. I make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you kindly.